Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Trail Mix, where the nuts might be a little stale, but the company is always fresh.
Craig Crawford here, retired journalist working for nothing but the truth and Social Security checks. Just had to put new batteries in my mouse, so we're good to go. And Chuck Schumer's talking. Thought we'd check in on him. Shutdown, showdown, coming actually at about maybe within the hour. The Senate's going to vote on whether to pass some stuff that'll avoid a shutdown. And so the Senate Republican leader, Majority Leader Thune just talked. Now Schumer's talking. Now they're talking to each other. Doesn't look like they're making any deal, but they did make one deal just now. Is Schumer couldn't find the stand for his chart that you see there. He's got an easel thing. He couldn't find his, so the Republican leader Thune loaned him his. So the federal government's going to shut down, but they were able to make a deal over their charts and easels. They're sharing that much. So looks like they're getting into something here. We'll go ahead and listen to them for a bit.
Now, reclaiming my time.
Nice.
They did not agree to the bills that the leader is talking about.
They don't sound so agreeable
now. They
now.
said explicitly, Democrat and Republican, there are two issues they can't resolve. Impoundments and rescissions and ACA tax credits in healthcare. And they all agreed, the four of them, that they couldn't agree to a bill until the leaders discussed it with us. We asked the leaders to discuss it with us in July, in the middle of August, at the end of August, in September. They refused. And now he says, give us another 45 days. Well, frankly, the Republicans have had 45 days since March. 145 days, another 45 days, another 45 days. And in the room,
he has a point.
Yesterday, Johnson said he doesn't want to do it at all. He doesn't want to have any compromise. So the time to do it is now. And the idea that we can do it till January, when we talked to the president yesterday, he didn't understand this. But I know that the leader does.
Apply it
First, in a day or two,
Hello.
millions of Americans.
Hello there.
Schumer's
get notices
making his last stand here.
An average of $400
this chart that he's got there,
a year. A middle
he
class
couldn't find his easel to prop his chart
We
on.
want to renew
So he
those
had to
credits,
borrow it.
among other things in
The
healthcare.
majority
But
leaders
renew those credits
in order
so
to put
that
his
people won't
chart
pay
up.
that
So
horrible
they've
interest.
agreed on something.
You can debate healthcare all you want.
They're shutting down the entire
Overwhelming
federal
majority of
government,
Americans,
but they were able to
Democrat,
make a deal on an
independent,
easel
even a
for
good number
Schumer's
of
chart here.
Republicans
Yeah,
wanted
they won't swear in
to renew those credits.
Grijalva,
Decision,
and
I mean,
on
what does the leader
top of
think?
that,
That we should go along, come
they
to an
won't pass
agreement,
any
and then let them undo
legislation,
it
which
unilaterally
means
as they've done
everything
once, and now
shuts
they're asked
down
to do
so
it
he
more?
doesn't have to deal with
No way.
Epstein.
That's not
Yeah.
how you deal with this.
Yeah, that's the other part of the House shutdown
So I repeat,
that is worth mentioning,
love this chart.
because that's the thing. The only way this shutdown stops now is if the Senate passes whatever it is, that makes it stop. And if they did, then the shutdown would be averted. But if they were to come up with some sort, this is why we know, I guess, there's not going to be a deal. If they came up with some sort of deal here in the Senate to avert a shutdown, well, there's no, Johnson sent everybody out. The House can't vote on it. I
But they could order them back into session.
and I don't know if they've got a plan to do that efficiently or not. They'd have to do it by midnight, wouldn't they?
Yeah,
We
they can do it.
precipice of a government shutdown because Republicans are not serious about
I just don't
Texas
know.
was such a joke.
Speaker Johnson sent it
You talk about the generals?
even though the government
Yeah, the meeting with the generals.
And Trump was just in full meltdown. I guess they must have told him, but I guess it didn't sink in. But he didn't seem to understand that the protocol with the military is not to sit there and cheer and applaud like it's a MAGA rally, and that seemed to bother Trump. It got him off his routine there, and it was bugging him. You could tell that he wasn't getting the big cheering responses and laugh lines and stuff like that. But, so it came across pretty awkward.
Yeah, and about all the military will ever do is once a speaker of the whole event, whatever the event is, however many speakers there are, they will then applaud.
Yeah.
But that's about as far as they go.
Yeah.
Because they are not supposed to demonstrate partisanship.
Yeah, that's the thing. You know, I remember Lyndon Johnson in his final months, the only place he could get a pleasant crowd was military bases. He did all his events at military bases because he couldn't go anywhere where there were any civilians around because they'd start protesting. So in his case, a very discreet, low-key military crowd was an improvement over what he normally got.
Yeah, but with Hegseth, the nails on a blackboard for me with all of the military in my family is referring to them as war fighters.
Yeah, and what's the deal with what did he say about beards? I mean, there's something about they can't
they're arguing about beards and tattoos and what is allowable and not allowable, and
when the government shuts down,
really,
costs go up.
And all of this whole business about woke and DEI and
Speaker Johnson in the room said to me, "They're not."
the military worked just fine until he got there. Thank you.
Clinics in Virginia, Southwest Virginia.
Yeah, and this running them down all the time, like everything's just so. The military was just so horrible, and I mean, I just didn't. It's all made up. I mean,
the American people know it's not beautiful, and so they know. Our Republican colleagues know that the American people are fully behind.
They were always soldiers. When you spoke to somebody, you would address them actually as soldier. War fighters, the United States has, that eagle has two claws. One has arrows and
yeah.
And it just, this whole attitude and emphasis on fighting wars. So here's Trump wanting to get a Nobel for peace, and here's Hegseth ready to shoot anything that walks.
Yeah.
Too many Republicans are lying through their teeth. They say, "Oh, the Democrats want."
I think they are both very insecure men.
Oh my God! You think? I loved
and they know it.
Lady Mama. Her line was her own line, where she called it his
undocumented immigrants from getting payments from Medicare, Medicaid, or the ACA.
Talking about
there's no money.
He always has to. All his stories include people calling him sir. She called that his respect.
It's a very old standard. If you have to tell everybody you're wonderful, you're not.
Yeah.
Let me say it again.
Well, I mean, I read. Well, I didn't. I read excerpts or reports on the media. They had a media pool in the speech there with the military leaders, and the media pool report was describing the reaction, because the video I saw, CNN never showed the crowd. They apparently had no cameras on the faces of the military people in the audience. I saw one on C-SPAN where they had the back of their heads, So anyway, the
Not
pool
to make
report
policy
noted
about
that
healthcare because
just
Republicans
how
use that argument.
non-committal they were
Right.
throughout and stony
Because they're just
silent
callous,
at,
malicious,
at his
unpopular.
laugh lines
So they're not
and
only refusing to talk
particularly
about healthcare, but
recoiled
exactly
when
do,
he
it's
was
only
attacking Joe
to
Biden.
spread
Not because they like Joe Biden, but I mean, Joe Biden had been their
misinformation, spread
commander in
lies.
chief. They served under him. I mean,
He
and
said
sitting
this
there
to Speaker
trashing
Johnson in the
a
Oval
former
Office
president was
yesterday.
just
I
so
told him it was
incredibly
very bold.
inappropriate.
That's the word I used. To say that we want undocumented immigrants to get federal benefits, that it can't happen.
Have there
by law,
been
and
any
no,
commentary or write-ups on it from
sort of smirked. That's because he knows the truth. He knows
reporters that we don't
They're
consider
lying.
either far right or far left, but
Republicans who use
that
this
are very good at
because they know how
straightforward
unpopular
reporting
the
of
position
events.
is.
I haven't
Kaiser
really.
Family Foundation
I mean,
voted
I was so disgusted by
75%
that thing. I
of Americans
had a hard time paying much
support
attention to it.
extending the
I couldn't watch Trump for more than a couple. No, well, actually, both of them. I couldn't watch it for any length of time. They both made me so angry.
because they're trying
Yeah.
to take away people's health care.
And it was just so staged, and
And this idea that we can
I
do
don't
this
know.
in
I
January,
mean,
no,
the
we know
part,
this
the
is going
serious
on
part of it
October
to
1st
me was what
as to how much
both of
insurance
them
people will get in
at
2019.
several
They only
points,
have a short
and I
period
feel like it was kind of the point of the whole event, is they're trying to condition the military and the country to this shift in focus that they're promoting from international military to domestic. I mean, they are trying to condition the nation for troops in the cities, and Trump said as much. I mean, where he said that he thought these dangerous cities could be laboratories for military training. You know, I mean, they want to refocus our military inward. And that is some scary stuff. And that was all throughout both their speeches. It's a little harder to quote because it's more subtle than some of the big items that were in the speeches.
The Guardian has something of a breakdown on the speech.
They want to negotiate? I don't think so.
Oh, you asked about the beards. It's no more beards, no more long hair,
Yesterday,
no superficial individual expression. The clean shaven is in. We're going to cut our hair, shave our beards, and adhere to standards. We don't have a military full of Nordic pagans. What if their religion is Nordic pagan?
But right now, they're not even talking to us seriously. They're sort of in La La Land.
Yeah, Chris always threatened to have Druid put on his
Yesterday, the president
tags.
posted an offensive deepfake
Druid.
video.
Druid, yeah.
With sombreros, fake music, impersonating my voice through
He
AI.
got that from a friend of
Talking
mine
more lies about health
who,
care.
when
Listen,
religious people used to come to the door,
hours away from a
Oh,
she always threatened to say, "We're Druids, we eat our dead."
The president is busy scrolling away on the internet like a 10-year-old. And that's exactly why Americans are going to blame him if the government shuts down. That's another proof point as to who is to blame.
yeah, I don't know about Schumer. This is a real test for Schumer, this moment in time, whether he's done or has anything left in him.
It's not like he's in touch with reality. He's in a bubble.
Oh, here you go. Let's see.
Oh,
Government shuts down.
he did
people's
say
healthcare
if somebody
premiums will go
wanted
up.
to
When we
wear a
told him
beard,
about it,
they
Hakeem
could
and I
join
yesterday,
special
by his
forces.
body language, he seemed not even to be.
Oh,
aware of
they're going to allow that in
ramifications.
special forces then. Okay.
Uh-huh.
If the president was smart, he'd move heaven and earth to fix this healthcare crisis right
Oh,
away.
and the military is very much
Because
a man's
Americans are gonna
world.
hold him responsible when they start paying $400, $500, $4,600 more a month on health care. So we have less than a day. If there was ever a moment for Donald Trump and Republicans to get serious about health care, it's now.
But combat
Even
in
right now, even
arms
this morning,
has
even
always
here on the
had a
precipice
very
of
high
this crisis,
standard.
The president would rather troll
But the
on the
women
internet,
drove
lie
the
about
same
healthcare than tell the
trucks
truth
and
and get to
tanks
work.
and They could be drivers.
So that's why the polls are abundantly
Yeah.
clear that Americans.
Yeah.
will
Well, I
vote
think
Donald
that I
Trump
think they do
Republicans
have some.
responsible if the government
But
shuts down.
I don't think there are any women
Senate
SEALs.
Republicans could stop this
I
crisis
saw
now. The
somebody
president
say.
should get on the phone with Leader
What?
Thune and the Johnsons and tell them to work with
I don't think
Democrats
there are
to fix
any
the crisis
any
before it's too
Navy
late,
any women in
and
the
work
Navy
with Democrats to
SEAls.
fix our health
No,
care
because they have
crisis.
very specific
I mean, which is why they,
requirements.
Let me
So
just say
he's
once
being,
again,
he's being stupid.
we tried over
There are
and over and
certain
over again
categories
to meet with
that
the
are
Republican
closed to
leadership.
women,
They
but
said no.
combat is not one of
The
them.
appropriator said they couldn't
I know
resolve
it's just
the
another
issue
case that
until
they
the
take
leaders met. So we asked the leaders
one
to
or
meet
two
again, and they said
examples
no,
of something
because they
and
didn't
then
want to
act
know
like it's
whether their
widespread
way or no
and a
way.
crisis that we must solve. You
Their
know, I
way
mean,
or
like
no way. That's not how the Senate
men
works.
and women's
If
sports
Republicans cause a shutdown,
and
the
immigrants
problems
getting
behind
free
the
health
traffic,
care. I
they
mean,
know
if
we're on the
you
side
can
of the
find
American
find
Democrats, we're on
5
the side of the
examples, then they
American
act like it's a national
citizens.
crisis
We
because it's happening everywhere.
continue to
Right.
focus on
Women can be in combat areas.
completely on
That
ourselves.
doesn't mean they're out, you know, packing 100-pound armaments and marching through the desert. They're out there driving the trucks. They're out there flying the helicopters.
Host of Ceasefire.
I'm gonna see.
They're
I'm gonna get Nicole's update here. She's come
Okay.
on. See what she's got to say.
Donald Trump's former defense attorney. Blanche has personally interviewed Jeffrey Epstein's
Oh, now what's
longtime
happening?
girlfriend, the convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell.
Now, why
Spent
are they
9 hours
talking
with
about
her,
this?
after which she was moved to a lower security prison. He has suggested that people who yelled at Donald Trump in a restaurant could face RICO prosecutions.
Now, what is
Now
she
we are
up to?
learning just how central Todd Blanche is to the Department of Justice's targeting of Democratic lawmakers, that it's actually a call coming from Main Justice at the highest levels. Brand new body cam footage released by a federal court reveals that Todd Blanche explicitly told federal agents to handcuff Newark's mayor, who happens to be a Democrat, Ross Baraka, outside an immigration detention center in May. Here is that footage.
Well,
No, I got it.
why they're
We're
into
taking
that.
them right now. All right. Well, let me
See what C-SPAN's doing. Huh.
Is available at the Apple Store
Huh.
and Google Play. Download it for free today. C-SPAN, democracy unfiltered.
Welcome to today's Washington Journal. Before we get to your calls, we're going to check in and get an update with
Now, here's
the Washington
CNN
Journal.
update.
Siobhan Hughes, welcome to the program.
Great to be here.
So there was a meeting yesterday at the White House.
Oh, this is this
What got
morning. Boy, CNN's not live.
Nothing got accomplished.
must
It
have the
was a
wrong
lot of
thing here.
posturing. Both sides were pretty dug into their
I mean,
positions, at
C-SPAN's
least when it
not
comes
live.
to the Hill.
Huh.
The Republicans saying, look, this is a 7-week CR. We need the Democrats to get on
Guess we
board. The
need to go
Democrats
see
saying,
where
we have this alternative proposal. From their perspective, the interesting thing that
C-SPAN's
happened
doing
was
the-
they say they saw daylight between President
Oh, Senate says, C-SPAN 2.
C-SPAN is not federally funded. It's thanks to the cable and satellite companies that provide our public service.
Bills to fund the federal government to avert a shutdown at midnight.
There's the
Both
Senate
bills
live.
failed to pass the Senate earlier
There.
this month. The first vote is on the Democrats' bill
Uh-huh.
extending government
You see
funding
what- oh,
past
shoot.
tonight's
That's
midnight
going on.
deadline to October 31st. It also extends expiring health care tax credits permanently. 60 votes are needed for passage. If this vote fails, lawmakers will then vote on the Republicans' bill to fund the government through November 21st. Again, senators must pass legislation tonight to avert a government shutdown at midnight. The House is not scheduled to hold votes this week, but members may be called back to the Capitol by House GOP leaders if a shutdown occurs. You're watching live coverage of the Senate here on C-SPAN 2.
There it is.
Graham, Mr. Grassley, Mr. Haggard,
The
Mr.
Senate.
Hassan, Mr. Hawley, Mr. Heinrich, Mr. Hickenlooper, Mr. Rono.
So what time are they supposed to call it to order?
Well, they've called the order. I think. Well, they may be. Yeah, they're voting now. They're voting on. There's a Democrat bill that would to cut through the weeds. There's a Democrat bill that would stop the shutdown. They're going to vote on that. It loses, and then there's a Republican bill, and if it loses, then we have a shutdown. That's the.
But what I'm saying, there's no voting going on.
No, I think this is voting now.
Mr. Mullen, Ms. Markowski.
There's no count up.
Mrs. Murray.
Oh,
Mr. Ossoff, Mr. Padilla, Mr. Paul.
They're
Mr.
calling
Cruz,
out
Mr.
names.
Reed,
Well, it says here, vote on Democrats' bill.
Mr. Ricketts, Mr. Resch.
Oh, I think what it is they're calling off a lot of names of people who aren't there.
Ms. Rosen, Mr. Rounds, Mr. Sanders.
Yeah, because that senator just did a thumbs up, and the one before her did a bunch of thumbs down.
Okay.
Oh, so here's Schumer now no, that's earlier.
Shots.
This stuff's not up to speed.
Substantive remarks. I just heard something
see if-
Trump said. Here's what he said.
God, Nicole's just off on her little mayor of New York routine here. I don't know why they're so focused on that. I guess.
Cutting vast numbers of people out. Well, there it is. Trump admitted himself that he is using Americans as political pawns. He is admitting that he is doing the firing of people if, God forbid, it happens. He's using Americans as pawns, as I said. Democrats do not want a shutdown. We stand ready to work with Republicans to find a bipartisan compromise, and the ball's in their court. When he says he will do things, he is taking ownership. He is taking ownership. It's just like in his first term when he said he will own the shutdown. It's just a point I wanted to make. Okay, now we're 10 hours away from government funding expiring simply because the Republicans are not serious about keeping it open. Finally, after months of asking, and mounting pressure, Leader Jeffries and I went to the White House yesterday to meet with the president and Republican leaders to find a way forward. And sitting in the room, it was very clear, behind closed doors, that the president hasn't fully grasped the magnitude of the disaster he's causing Americans. As costs continue to skyrocket for Americans, thanks to Trump's tariffs, economic policies, clean energy policies, and disastrous blunders, Americans are prepared to spend 114% more on their health insurance. That's right, that just came out. According to the Kaiser Families Foundation's analysis today, without ACA premium tax credits, premiums will double, more than double on average. And this not only affects those on ACA, it affects just about every American family with health insurance, because it is as
I was thinking about that. I think the mechanics of what's going to happen is people that have ACA policies are going to get notices at the end of this year because the open enrollment's coming up. So we're within a month or two of people getting notices that their premiums are going up. That's when it'll hit home.
Yeah.
And
that's when Democrats have got to make clear this is happening because of Trump. This is who's doing this to you. and they got to make sure people make that connection.
This is what the House Republican Conference called. Lisa McClain, the head.
Well, I got my notice by email that United Healthcare was opening it up.
That argument. That's not me.
Your Advantage plan? Or?
Yeah. The changes in my Medicare Advantage.
Yeah, because that's coming up. The open enrollment for Medicare Advantage would be December 7th.
And the damage is much greater than even people thought.
I guess that's the deadline. Is that the deadline?
That's the deadline, yeah.
Yeah.
It's very unpopular.
But then there's also an open enrollment period coming up that I think is in January for people on Obamacare, the ACA, and they'll be getting premium notices at the end of this year before that open enrollment period. And if nothing happens, if Democrats don't succeed in what they're trying to do,
And let me be clear, because they like to tell
people are going to get some pretty big increases in their premium
the merits.
when they get those notices in a couple of months, and that's when people will start paying attention.
Undocumented people cannot and will not receive
But
premium
they're
tax
going to start
They
paying
say
attention
that
now
undocumented
because
people
anybody
are
who's currently
That is
on a
absolutely
plan such
false.
as
That is
I
one of
am
the big lies they
can
tell.
either just read it over, say, okay, that's fine, and they'll just slide you
Federal
into
government by law that
new
was passed
into next year without any
does
problem,
not fund
Yeah.
which is
healthcare
what
for
I did today.
undocumented immigrants in Medicaid,
But if you
period.
want to make changes or review other
Medicare.
companies and other plans,
Undocumented
this is
immigrants
your
do not
notice
get
to
federal health
start working on that, because
Period.
you've either got to switch
Period.
now
They're
or
lying.
your window's going to
Look, I'll call
close.
them on it
Right.
when they bring it up. Some of the newspapers have. Okay. I said this
Anyway,
directly to
United
Senator
Healthcare
Johnson
is
in
the
the
best
Oval
one I've
Office.
found
I
for
told him what
my
he was saying was bull,
purposes.
because he said you guys want that.
Yeah, that's what I have
Didn't even answer.
for mine.
And why are they
I
lying?
got
They know how
supplemental
unpopular the position
with
is on
them.
health care. Shouldn't talk about it. Republicans know perfectly well that undocumented immigrants are already prohibited,
See if
as I said,
CNN's getting into
from getting
this. yet.
insurance on ACA, Medicare, or Medicaid. They know perfectly well not a single sentence or clause or comma that we're pushing in our bill does that.
You know, because
But
he's
they're lying.
retired military.
No, they're
Chris
stupid.
has
This debate turns into one
his
about
medical
healthcare.
insurance
Guess
through
what?
them,
That's just what
and
we are
then
doing.
he can
We are
supplement
making
it
this
with
debate a debate
Social
on
Security
healthcare.
if he wants.
If you want an indication of how serious Republicans are about keeping the government open, who wants the shutdown? There's no better proof than the fact that Speaker Johnson sent everybody
This
home
is a rare
ensuring
case
the
of,
shutdown no matter what.
in all the shutdowns I've watched or covered back in
Don't
the
argue
Clinton days, I covered them.
It's Johnson.
But
And when we asked
this is
President
the first
Trump
one
to
where I
meet with
think
us
both
on
sides
Monday,
actually won it.
by all reports, it was Johnson who made him pull the meeting back.
I think they do as
Pull the
well.
meeting back. And if you want another
The
indication,
Republicans want to shut up about
so by the way, so the House
Epstein,
Republicans
Yeah.
might be here, but they're home.
and
You
the
want another
Democrats
indication of
wanted
how
to be
serious
out there
Republicans
talking
are
about
funding the government. Look
Medicare.
no further than the deep fake
Oh, here's
AI
Rosie
video.
O'Donnell on the co. Let's see what she's saying.
Child. This is a very wounded person, right? Who I don't believe ever learned the tenets of compassion, love, empathy, sympathy, who never read a Bible, who lies first and always. You know, there are people who lie compulsively. He's one of them.
Rosie O'Donnell is my guest on this week's episode of the Best People podcast. Scan the QR code on your screen to watch the entire conversation on YouTube, or download this week's episode wherever you get your podcasts. Let me know what you think. One more break. We'll be right back.
Yeah, that's one of the podcasts I have that I actually listen
Now,
to.
the CNN's on the Portland story.
The way a lot of Democrats are saying right
Oh,
now.
did you see the judge that
It's starting to get better.
Wow.
But it's also not
160 pages
and
just
so you have these people
excoriating
talking
the
on these scripts that are just not
Trump.
reflective of reality.
It's so crazy when he
That was-
talked about
Is that what
how
you're talking
DC
about?
is more dangerous.
No, I'm talking
Then-
about the judge telling ICE shut them down about wearing masks.
Oh, no, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, that. Let's see. Ruling.
Someone will have to go see.
Yeah, it was one that just.
Oh, I guess I'll check in with Sam and see what is going on.
Yeah, there was a ruling handed down today, and apparently the judge was just furious.
Oh, that's the one I was talking about.
Yeah.
160 pages. A Reagan judge. The Reagan opinion.
Right.
Now this is so weird. I guess I need a new keyboard. I don't know. I don't know if that's. It comes and it goes. But my keyboard. Huh.
U.S. District Judge Paul G. Young, Reagan appointee,
Yeah.
issued a ruling today with a condemnation of ICE agents wearing masks.
Oh, so that was the same. Oh, so we're talking about the same one now.
I guess so. But the ruling itself was about targeting pro-Palestinian academics for deportation because it was a violation of free speech. And anyway, in writing, has never tolerated an armed, masked, secret police.
Yeah.
And wearing them as cowardly desperados like the despised Ku Klux Klan. You know, as I said, he had steam coming out of his ears.
Oh, this is Patty Murray. I saw some of this earlier. Patty Murray was really strong. Let's get her on here.
Now, apparently, when President Trump was looking over Democratic health care proposals, he said, and I quote, "Go F yourself." That tells you how much Donald Trump cares about whether families go bankrupt paying for their health care. Premiums on the marketplace are set to
He ends
more
up saying
than
he's
double.
unfit for office.
Washington State had an uninsured rate of 15% before the Affordable Care Act.
He
Now
was
it's
unfit
at
for office
75%.
before he won it the first time.
People now, though, are going to lose their health insurance because
Yeah, I actually
of Trump
saw
and Republicans.
a commentator
They're going
on
to put off their care. Many will
on
get
the year.
sicker.
Oh, here CNN's finally
His
on it. Let's
budget
see what
director,
they're saying.
Russ Vought, who of course has been at the center of a lot of attention in the last few days because of this, that he could use this, as the president said earlier, to trim the budget in ways that they would not be able to do so, as the president articulated it, Jake, if there was not a government shutdown. And he even went further in a moment just now in the Oval Office with reporters, describing a government shutdown in positive terms like this.
A lot of good can come down from shutdowns. We can get rid of a lot of things that we didn't want.
Now, he didn't say exactly what good things he meant there, Jake, or what programs we could see the White House try to cut should there be a shutdown, as it appears there is going to be in just a couple of hours from now. But that is something you should watch for in terms of the White House trying to use this moment. As much as they have said that this is not on them, they are arguing this is on Democrats, as we heard from the Vice President, J.D. Vance, yesterday. And Jake, just to give you an indication of what is going to come, if this shutdown is going to stretch more than past just tonight and into the days to come, right now in the briefing room, the White House is playing basically a giant mashup of quotes from Democratic senators in the past warning about the damage of a government shutdown and the federal workers it would impact, Americans it would impact. They are using quotes from people like Senator Cory Booker, Senator Chuck Schumer, and many others, Jake. It's basically just playing on a loop inside the briefing room right now. Expect that message to continue from the White House for the days to come.
All right, Caitlin Collins at the White House. Thanks so much. As the shutdown nears, Caitlin is going to speak with House Speaker Mike Johnson on her show, The Source with Caitlin Collins. That's tonight at 9 Eastern, only on CNN. Republican Senator from Wisconsin, Ron Johnson, joins us now to discuss Senator, good to see you. So you told the Wall Street Journal that fiscal conservatives such as yourself are trying to stop reckless government spending that, quote, mortgages our children's future. Moments ago, you voted no on the Democratic funding proposal. How are you going to vote on the Republican funding proposal that already passed the House that continues spending at its current level?
I'll vote yes. Again, I don't like government shutdowns. This is pretty simple for Democrats. If they don't want government shutdowns, they'll vote for the House bill. They could have voted last night to eliminate shutdowns for all time. That was my Eliminate Shutdowns Act. Just would establish 14-day rolling continuing appropriations until Congress gets its act together and starts passing appropriation bills. So again, there are two different ways we could have avoided this shutdown. Democrats rejected both of them.
But as a fiscal hawk who wants to cut government spending, do you not see what President Trump clearly seems to be relishing an opportunity, in his view, during a shutdown to lay off federal employees forever, to fire them, and also to make spending cuts forever? Would that not be what your long-term goal, would that not serve your long-term goal of reducing federal spending?
Well, in the private sector, when a company is bankrupt, and let's face it, our nation is bankrupt, in private sector, employees are laid off and they have to go find jobs elsewhere, which quite honestly shouldn't be that difficult if federal workers lose some jobs. I mean, in Wisconsin, you can't find enough workers, so there are plenty of jobs out there. That's what happens in the private sector. I don't see why public sector employees ought to be immune from that exact same process.
In May, you came on State of the Union and you told me emphatically, quote, we have to reduce the deficit. What have you done since then to address the deficit in the last 4 months? Have you worked on anything with Democrats? Have you worked on anything with House members? Have you worked on any legislation? Where is, I know that you're very passionate about this. What's the latest?
Well, I fought very hard in the One Big Beautiful Bill to do a lot more in terms of returning to a reasonable pre-pandemic level spending. I was not nearly as successful as I wanted to be. But in the end, nobody, including Democrats, by the way, who could have increased taxes when they had total control, nobody wanted a tax increase. That was the main reason why I voted for that bill, to avoid a massive automatic tax increase. But bottom line is we were able to reduce government spending to a certain extent. Not enough. Hopefully have another bite of the apple to do that.
A New York Times Siena poll asked Americans whom they will blame if a shutdown happens, who they'll blame the most. 26% said Trump and Republicans in Congress. 19% say Democrats in Congress. 33% say a pox on both their houses. 21% say they haven't heard enough to offer their opinion. So clearly, at least according to this poll and this sample of Americans, the idea that this shutdown will be the fault of the Democrats, it's not a universally held truth.
Well, let's face it, legacy media will always blame Republicans and prop up Democrats. Media. That's just sort of the basic lay of the land. But in this case, it's pretty clear cut. The House has already passed a bill. They're not.
Yeah, but the supposed fiscal hawks have no trouble voting for another tax decrease.
About that one. I don't like these CRs that expire right before a holiday, which create pressure to just pass a massive 2,000-page omnibus spending bill. That's basically the well-honed process of the uniparty, the big spenders. So I'm not that nuts about it, but I'm going to vote for it to avoid a shutdown.
President Trump posted an AI-generated depiction of Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries.
Jake's been real hot on this.
Mustache.
For good reason.
The Democratic House leader responded saying, "Bigotry will get you nowhere." What was your response to this? If you saw it, are you comfortable with your party leader posting things like this?
I honestly haven't seen it. Don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. Republican Senator from Wisconsin, Ron Johnson. Thank you, sir. Good to see you.
Have a great night.
President Trump just announced a website
where how many times
prescription drugs at discounted prices. What that could mean for medicine that you buy.
I think
Secretary
that is a classic example of, as far as I'm concerned, being totally two-faced.
They do not agree with his views against diversity.
He claims to be solidly for something.
We're going to talk to a retired major general.
But he knee-jerk votes for the things that he's supposedly against.
Yeah.
Sometimes things fall right in.
Yeah, see, here's the Guardian piece that you put up on Trail Mix that we became the woke department. Yeah, the woke department. I guess when Truman integrated the military, that was woke. Was that woke? when Colin Powell became Secretary of Defense and Joint Chiefs there, that was woke, I guess.
Yep. And of course, anybody with a slightly darker tan who wins medals, that's DEI.
Oh, I see. The Guardian kind of goes through it point by point.
Right.
The era of race and gender-based promotions is over. Okay, then. No more diversity. Oh, fat shame. That's what I love about the Guardian. Is they don't hold back.
Yeah.
Looking the part is key. Fat shaming is in.
Well, darling, my dinner just arrived.
Okay.
I'll talk to you later.
All right. Let's see. Would you want him serving with fat or unfit, undertrained troops? Grooming matters, and the clean-shaven look is paramount. The thing that I don't see here I'm interested in. Okay, if you don't agree with him, you can just leave. Go back to the C-SPAN. They're voting now. The roll call's underway.
Do these layoffs and do these firings. It will fall on him, as I said. He's the one doing the firings, not Democrats. And that's what it shows. Yes. No, right here. It's not what it's, I don't know what the poll numbers were, because yes, without question, wherever we go, wherever we talk about it, it has our back on this issue. And it shows that who do you trust much more? Who do you trust more to deal with the healthcare crisis? They trust Democrats. And one final thing, they're going to start getting these notices tomorrow. A lot of people don't know it. But once they start getting these notices, and there are these huge, staggering increases, we thought it was $400 per family on ACA and somewhat more, somewhat less for people not on ACA. Now it's more, it's 114%. They're going to be staggered, and they're going to say, what's happening? And we're going to be right there explaining to them, it's because the Republicans wouldn't negotiate with us. We're ready to do it anytime, and there'll be huge heat on them on this issue. No, last one. This gentleman had to call on someone from this side, the left side.
Over the last decade and a half, in instances when Republicans have shut down the government over one issue or another, order ACA funding, they did not get the policies that they were requesting. What makes you think this will be different for Democrats?
Because the healthcare crisis that they created, in part because we asked them 3 times to vote on extending the ACA, and they voted no 3 times. And we believe that this issue is a real issue for the American people. We also believe that when there's a Democratic president, a Republican president, a Republican Senate, a Republican House, the natural inclination is to blame the Republicans. That's what the polling data shows. A neutral question, who do you blame, Democrats or Republicans? It's like +20, they'd blame the Republicans. And we also believe the fact that they wouldn't negotiate with us, which became clearer last week when Trump said yes and Trump said no. The American people don't like that. So we think we're on our front foot as we go into this fight. Thank you, everybody.
And congratulate him on his new grandchild.
In the middle of the caucus, my phone rang, and it was my wife. We have a beautiful little boy, name yet not told to us by our daughter and daughter-in-law.
Congrats.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are only hours away from a government shutdown, and the Democrats have a very clear binary choice. They can choose to keep the government open by voting for a short-term, nonpartisan, clean continuing resolution, 24 pages long, or they can vote to shut the government down. That's what we're looking at. They, as you all know, have voted during the time they had the majority 13 different times, and when Biden was in the White House, on short-term continuing resolutions, 13 different times. And so it begs the question is what's changed? I think what's changed is President Trump is in the White House. That's what this is about. This is politics. And there isn't any substantive reason why there ought to be a government shutdown. This is something that has been done routinely, as I said, 13 different times when the Democrats had the majority. But we are not going to be held hostage for over $1 trillion in new spending on a continuing resolution, nor are we going to be held hostage to allow illegals to get free health care in a continuing resolution. These are things that they're demanding as part of their so-called negotiation. Ladies and gentlemen, there isn't anything here to negotiate. This is a routine funding resolution to keep the government open so that we can continue our appropriations work and fund the government in the old-fashioned way, which is allowing the Appropriations Committee, Democrats and Republicans, to work together as they have been. And by the way, the Democrat leader keeps talking about not consulting. The Appropriations Committee, they picked the date. Democrats and Republicans, the big four on the Appropriations Committee were consulting. They picked the date for the continuing resolution, November the 21st. And so this has been an open process from the very beginning. This year, we opened up the appropriations process, something that wasn't done when the Democrats had the majority here in the Senate. But they have a clear choice in front of them today. And I hope there are Democrats out there. This may not represent the view of their leadership, but I'm hoping there are Democrats out there who are reasonable and understand what's at stake here. And as they have articulated many times in the past, the costs associated to the American people with the government shutdown. This is totally avoidable. It is a decision they're going to have to make. And if the government shuts down, it is on the Senate Democrats. The House has acted. The President's ready to sign the bill. And all that's left is for 8 Democrats to join us in passing that bill today. Senator Barrasso.
Well, the radical wing of the Democrat Party is demanding that Chuck Schumer shut down the government. If not, they'll be held to pay. We know that Chuck Schumer has had a war room going for the last couple of months to orchestrate the shutdown. That is their plan. So he comes up with this ransom note asking for $1 trillion to just keep the government open for 4 weeks.
Shutdown blame game in 48 seconds. Federal shutdowns blame usually lands on whoever looks like they lit the match. 1995-96, Gingrich's Congress took more heat than Clinton in the polls after. He looked like the adult in the room to most people. 2013, defund Obamacare gambit backfired. Most blamed House Republicans. January 2018, 3-day lapse, blame blurred. 2018 to 19, the big border wall fight in Trump's first administration after he said he was proud to shut down the government. The pattern? Goalpost mover loses. Tie new demands to the clock and voters smell hostage taking. Length matters. Short lapses blur. Long ones brand.